Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Life as an Autistic Person podcast. This is episode number 5, titled Sleeping and Dreaming, and I want to discuss how sleeping and, of course, dreaming, soccer, that's what the title is, how it relates to autism, at least for many autistic people. Now, I did do a separate video talking about dreams, if you want to check that out, but I'm going to talk about dreams, but also about sleeping, which I covered a little bit in that dreams video, but I want to cover it really in depth here. I've done a bit of research on how sleep relates to autism, and I want to share some of my experiences. Also, real quick thing, you might notice that the podcast looks a little bit different. I know we don't really like change that much, but I recently changed my logo. It was made by a mod of the channel, Fizzy, so shoutouts to them. But yeah, they made a new, more unique design for my logo, while still being reminiscent of Xenoblade, which I appreciate. So yeah, I decided it would be best to change up how the podcast looks, and I also adjusted the thumbnails for the past episodes to match this one, even though the actual, when you click on the video, it's going to be the same old thumbnail as it was before, but at least the thumbnail will be different, even if the video itself won't be different. I hope I make sense. I don't really make sense. So anyway, let's get into this episode, shall we? I guess we should talk about some of the research that I've done, which is not that crazy, but I think I did a good amount of research where basically I was trying to figure out, why do many autistic people have trouble sleeping? I see this very common. I even see it with myself. A lot of people in my community are autistic because that is my channel, and I know lots of them have sleep issues too, and I wanted to know why exactly. I kind of knew a little bit, but I wanted to do more research, and I found out there's really a variety of reasons why we have trouble sleeping. One of the most common ones I saw was that we have low melatonin levels. That's a link between autism and autistic people, and that, which melatonin or whatever, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's basically how your body responds to darkness or whatever, so that could cause sleep issues. I also saw something about many of us are not that social, so maybe we're more likely to stay inside, stay indoors, and I feel like that could cause us to not get that much vitamin D. I believe that's the right one, where it's you get energy from the sun or whatever to stay up. So some cases you might be more tired in the daytime, even if you struggle to sleep, which I'll get into that later on. But yeah, those are two things that I saw. The vitamin D one I did see, but it was more my theory, which I think makes sense, but I know I saw that before. Also, let's not ignore the fact that autistic people, we have a lot of trouble with overthinking a lot of things. We constantly think about things going on, so we have rushing thoughts, so that could be another issue for us to have a lack of sleep. We're also, pretty sensitive to things like light, sound, touch, all that stuff, which is why I saw a thing, especially where many autistic people, we get a lot, maybe we wake up more than other people, maybe we sleep longer, or we sleep shorter, but sometimes we wake up more common because of all these things, the environment, the temperature changes, or we hear a loud sound or something. And this relates to the dreaming part as well, but basically, because we have racing thoughts that could influence our dreams. I also saw something that many autistic people have vivid dreams, which is not the case for everyone, but it is the case for me. Yeah, that can vary, again, through a wide degree of either we believe these dreams, they're so vivid that we feel tired and after we wake up, or they're scary, so we get less sleep. Again, it really does depend. Autism is, of course, a spectrum, and this sleep thing, it really does depend on a lot of people, but usually from what I've done on my research, it has caused we get a lot we either get very few sleep, or we take so long to sleep, or we sleep for so long and have trouble getting up. And that is the case for me. So I guess I should bring up some of my stories with sleep, because oh boy, I have a lot. So first thing I want to bring up is the fact about bedwetting, which I did for a little bit too long than I like to admit. And not even just bedwetting, but like wetting like my pants. I did not stop until like, I don't know, kinder. And the wetting the bed thing like took a little bit longer, like in like first, second grade or something like that. It took a little bit longer. And there's actually a surprising connection with autism and bedwetting, which has to do with sleep sensory issues. As I saw one of the possible causes. I don't know, but it seems to be more common in autistic people, which I guess is another point to me not knowing I was autistic, even though I wet the bed for longer than normal people. But even though I have stopped wetting the bed, I do one, I don't know why I kept doing it. Maybe it did have something to do with sensory issues, but now my sensory issues are like the reverse of that, where anytime I feel like going to the bathroom, I wake up and I have to go to the bathroom, and I wake up like 2-3 times a night or whatever, or a day. Again, I'll talk about more about my sleep schedule later on. But basically, I sleep, but I wake up like 3 or 2 times in between to go to the bathroom, because now my sensory thing is like in reverse compared to last time when I was really young, where I wouldn't notice if I needed to go to the bathroom, so I would just wet the bed or whatever. So, or even like, you know, in kindergarten where I wet my pants or whatever. I have a embarrassing story about that, where I did it in school and my mom had to come in and like give me new pants or something. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the kids laughed. I don't remember that much about it, because kindergarten was a traumatizing time. I mean, that's the year I lost my dad, so I kind of blanked out a lot of stuff. But I think it was pretty traumatizing at the very least. You know, even if no one saw, which I highly doubt, it's just the potential to be seen in school is like, oh my god. Now, moving on to the actual sleeping stuff. My sleep schedule is a huge mess. I sleep very randomly. I do not have a consistent sleep schedule. And you know what? I am kind of okay with it. Let me explain. Look, many autistic people, we like routine. That is a known thing with us. I personally like routine. I like to eat every like 6 hours, for example. But I don't really like routine as in like a strict, like at this time, I need to do this every single day. I like to do a routine where when I wake up, I'll eat a particular food, and then like in a few hours, I will eat again a slightly different arrangement of food, and then in another few hours, I'll go back to eating the same food I did the first time, like the same amount of time. So I have a different level of consistency, which I feel is the case for many autistic people, and even just people in general. We have different, you know, varieties of how we do things or want to do things. But that's just me. So I really don't have a consistent sleep schedule. I stay up for as long as I can, and I go to sleep, and I wake up. I don't have an alarm. I just wake up when I do. You know, sometimes, you know, like I said, I wake up like 2 or 3 times, but I go back to sleep pretty easily. I'll talk more about getting to sleep like the first time later, but after I go to sleep, I pretty much fall asleep pretty easily for the most part, if I have to wake up to go to the bathroom or whatever. But anyway, I just sleep when I want, and I'm okay with that, to be honest. Of course, there were some exceptions, especially during school, but I basically slept pretty late. Here's a fun fact. I actually did not go to sleep when I went to school until 2 in the morning, and I had school like at 8 in the morning, whatever. That's when I had to wake up or whatever, but to go in like 30 minutes. That's when the class would start. So I would basically get 6 hours of sleep for weekdays, and then I would sleep longer and whatever time I want for the weekends. And the fun fact is also, there's another fun fact. My mom did not put a sleep schedule on me. She did not really care when I went to sleep. In fact, I'm the one who set the time. Okay, I'm gonna sleep at 2 in the morning, because I figured 6 hours was good enough for me, right? It really wasn't. I can function on 6 hours, but I really, really need a long time to sleep. Like, lately, not so much lately, but a little bit more recently, I've been sleeping for way longer than I should. Like, I don't know, 11 hours, 10 hours, maybe even 12 hours, like one time or two times. Now, like in a more recent times, I've been sleeping a little bit more, less, like 9 hours or eight, sometimes 10 here and there, but usually nine is like the consistent thing. I need a little bit more sleep than others. I think what was causing my extended sleep was because I'm taking medication, which I'll talk more about medication as well, how it relates to autism. But yeah, I took basically like sleep medication, and I think that caused me to sleep longer. But they lessened that, so now I sleep pretty normal. But anyway, back to the 6 hours thing. I used to do that basically every time. Sometimes I would sleep longer, like I would go to sleep earlier if I felt really tired. But otherwise, I mostly was able to function on 6 hours when I had to go to school, and it wasn't the best. I slept way longer in the weekends. I thought I could get away with 6 hours because I'm like, oh, I need less sleep than normal people. No, it turns out I'm the opposite. I need more sleep than other people. So, yeah, there's that. But yeah, nowadays, again, I sleep when I want, when I feel tired or whatever, and I wake up when I can, you know. But even back then, I stayed up at 2 in the morning. So I was a pretty consistent night owl. I love the night. So does my family. My family is also night owls. My brother sleeps a lot on his own, like basically too. My mom did put a stricter sleep schedule on him, especially for school. In fact, he has to sleep earlier, like 11:30 or something for school. Although I kind of helped my mom because I think I basically came up with my own sleep schedule, but I kind of helped my mom with my brother's. But anyway, that's besides the point. My brother, he sleeps more normally for school days, but he is a night owl. My mom is a constant night owl. In fact, she has like worse sleep issues than me. This could be related to her. She has depression, like the medical actually one, not like just depression, like as in like, oh, I'm depressed about this certain event. No, like she has the diagnosis of it. But because of that, she like sleeps like in pauses most of the time. Lately, she actually been sleeping far more consistently, which is kind of weird. But usually, she does sleep in pauses, like 2 hours, stays up for like another like 3 hours or something, or four, goes to sleep for 2 or 1 hour. Like, I don't know, like it's just a whole thing. But we usually do all stay up at night, and I really like that. I like the night. It is very fun. I prefer it. Of course, I'm not always awake during the night. Sometimes I am asleep during it. It just depends on when I decide to go to sleep and when I decide to wake up. But the night just makes me really happy, and I think I actually do sleep better, weirdly enough, when I'm in the daytime. So yeah, but like again, it just really just depends on when I wake up. So that's just a me thing, though. I guess I should also talk about the medication part. Which I know many autistic people also take medication to help with like sleep, either to sleep longer or sleep less. It really depends. Maybe even to fall asleep sooner. Which I should talk about this. Especially when during school time, I really, or like holidays, I really did struggle with going to sleep at the right time. Like, I sometimes, even though, guys, even though I had a sleep schedule, like when I was in school, to go to sleep at 2 in the morning, sometimes I couldn't sleep until 30 or even an hour or more later. Like, it was really rough. So, yeah, I had really bad habits of trying to go to sleep, and I couldn't. It was especially prevalent in school days and holidays. Even nowadays, to be honest, though, because sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm gonna relax a little bit. Like, I put away my phone or I charge it, and then I just relax. I tried to sleep. I think I'm a little bit tired, but I tried to close my eyes and I just keep thinking about stuff. That's the rushing thoughts, constant thinking that we have, many autistic people at least. And I think about stuff, and I try to calm it down, and then I start to think about many things, either things I did or things I regret, or just things like I plan to do, or something like, which is always funny for me. I'm thinking, should I go to sleep or should I go eat something? Which is a very common thing for me, where I feel a little bit tired, but I also feel a little bit hungry. So I'm like, what do I do? I'm not really tired. I'll go eat something, or I don't really feel like eating. I'm gonna sleep, or at least try to. But sometimes it doesn't work. Even nowadays, I sometimes I put my phone away for like a few minutes to see if I'm tired. I don't. Okay, well, I'll go eat or go back to my phone, or what I do is I try to keep sleeping for like an hour and I haven't gotten nowhere, so then I give up and then I go back to doing the same thing, look at my phone or going to get food or something. It really is just I still have that issue where I have trouble sleeping, and my medicine doesn't really help me. Maybe I need a different kind. My medicine more so helps me sleep a little bit better, have more energy throughout the day. Even then, I still feel a little bit tired. Maybe it's because I don't leave the house. That's a thing where, vitamin D levels or whatever. I kind of feel tired. Not tired. In fact, when I was in school, I used to be really tired throughout the day. It was just so boring and I hated it. Nowadays I am a little bit more energized, especially because I do streams almost every day, and it's fun to do them. But still sometimes even before streams or afterwards, I feel a little bit lower in energy, which again might be because of the sunlight, how I don't go outside really. But my medicine does help me with that, and of course sleep a little bit more normally, sleep more consistently without having to, I do wake up, sometimes to go to the bathroom, but otherwise I go back to sleep immediately. So it's not like I go to sleep for 3 hours or something and I wake up and I can't go back to sleep for another 2 hours. So basically, what I'm trying to say is I'm not like my mom. Yeah, I think that's what my medicine does for me personally. So yeah. Now, of course, a big part of sleeping is dreaming. Oh, title reference. Okay, yeah. But I did talk about this in a separate video, but I'll talk about it here as well. Dreaming is a pretty okay. Look, so from what I noticed, not many people remember it, which is weird because I remember basically every single one of my dreams. But I have done more research, and apparently, autistic people, we tend to remember our dreams more. Of course, there's some exceptions. Some autistic people don't remember them or whatever. But also we have more vivid dreams compared to other, normal people, neurotypical people, whatever. Which is definitely true for me. I've had dreams where, again, it just felt so real, or I'm talking to a person. I still, God, I mentioned this so many times. Maybe you're sick of it if you watch the channel, but I just can't stop thinking about this Jehovah's Witness girl, Clarissa, and I'm sorry I keep bringing this up, but I just have so much baggage with her. I keep dreaming about her, and not really a fun thing, but very recently, 2 days ago, I had a dream where I was basically having a conversation with her, saying why won't she talk to me? Because I was trying to contact her and she like blocked me on Discord or whatever. That's actually the only reason I got Discord. It was to talk to her because she didn't have like a phone or whatever. And I stopped using Discord for like 3 years until I started my YouTube channel. But anyway, that's besides the point. She blocked me there. She like we were friends there, and like I was like having a vivid conversation with her about this, and we were having an argument, and then something happened, and then I screamed or whatever, and then I woke up. Like that was like a very vivid dream. I also have some dreams where you know, besides that, where they just feel real, like something about my family, they're getting mad at me and they won't tell me why, and then they want to leave me, or like just things that feel so real when you wake up. When you wake up, it's hard to believe it's not real because you're like, wait, did that not just happen? And then sometimes, because of the dreams being so vivid, you think those are real memories that happened to you, like in real life, when you're like, oh no, wait, that happened in a dream. That didn't happen to me in real life. Like oh my god. So but yeah, again, many autistic people are different. They don't experience this. In fact, I saw some accounts where they don't remember their dreams, or they don't have that many interesting dreams. But from what I know, many autistic people at least do share the same thing as me. And I do think a lot of the cases for the vivid dreams is because of the fact that, you know, we deal with a lot of stress every day. We have a lot of racing thoughts, so those thoughts materialize into dreams or whatever. You know, just the whole thing. That's like so detailed that I don't really want to explain it much farther, besides again shouting out that video I did about the dreams and autism. I'll probably link that video in the description, by the way, of this podcast episode if you want, so I guess check that out. But honestly, I think that might be about it for this episode of the podcast. I do have some other things I want to say, such as, well, one, many autistic people seem to be a little bit, you know, depressed, anxiety filled, and sometimes I feel this way, not gonna lie, but many of us, like autistic people or just depressed people in general, we love sleeping. One, it actually does feel really good to sleep. Like, it feels really good to sleep. But sometimes, because depression and all that stuff, we do feel like, especially for people that don't dream or don't remember their dreams at least, they feel like, you know, they don't exist for like a little bit, and then when they wake up, like the life comes back to them, and then they get disappointed. Again, sometimes I do understand, and I even feel this way. Sometimes, you know, you're having a bad day or having a rough time, and then sleep is the only release you have. Again, if you don't dream, sometimes I don't dream, but again, because of someone like me that does remember all my dreams, basically, it is a little bit hard because, you know, if I'm thinking about something or I have a rough day, I usually dream about something. Or even when I'm having the best day of my life, again, I'm sorry about bringing this up, always a Jehovah Witness girl, but even when I'm having the best day of my life or something, that memory of her still is in the subconscious of my mind. I don't think about it at all for the rest of the day. And then I suddenly have a dream about her and I feel depressed or whatever. So for me, it's a little bit different. But when I don't dream, it's kind of nice here and there, you know. Of course, you know, people that love that every time, they clearly are depressed. And again, some autistic people are depressed. That is like one of the you know, it can help cause depression for us. But I feel like I'm getting into a whole side thing. I'm just basically trying to say that sleep can be good for us. It can feel, you know, it feels really good for us, especially because sensory stuff, you know, but also, you know, it could be a release from life for a little bit for some, even though that's not that healthy. But I just want to put into perspective how some autistic people may feel. Oh, and I guess one last thing that I did touch on in that dreams and autism video or whatever, which again will be linked in the description, but I do want to talk about lucid dreams real quick. They do kind of go hand in hand a little bit with vivid dreams. But for me personally, like even if I don't really have like lucid dreams, but I usually am aware when I'm dreaming like half the time. I usually am, but I can't really do anything with it. Like I realize I'm in a dream and like for example, I remember having a dream very recently about like I was running for like I don't know, it was something to do with school and I was like running or something. I don't know, and I realized I was in a dream and I'm like, oh, I'm not getting tired because this is not real. I'm dreaming, but I did not do anything with it. Like I didn't change my environment or suddenly went to flying or whatever. So yeah, usually like half the time I am aware when I'm dreaming, but I can't really do anything for it. I've only had like two truly like lucid dream experiences where I'm like, oh yeah, I can do whatever the heck I want. I can fly. I can do this. I can do this. In fact, I remember one time where I was like, it was weird. I don't know how I even saw this. Maybe because I don't think I do this, but maybe this one time I did. But I remember like I was flying around. It was like outside of a school area, but I realized it was a dream. So I started to fly away or whatever. And then I saw like, imagine like a full screen TV, like, you know, the size of like, I don't know, a stadium or something. And you see in the outside, you see the TV being on. Basically, like if you were awake, but I was asleep. So I'm thinking maybe I had like my eyes or at least one eye open so that I can be able to see that, because otherwise how the heck would I be able to see that? So I tried to get out and I couldn't. Eventually I was able to find a way. Like I don't know, I punched something and then I woke up and then I saw the TV. It was basically the same thing as how it was seeing it in my dream, which again makes me think I was like awake or something, or had my eyes open or something. So yeah, and then there was like another case of something similar, but usually that's not the case. Usually I just dream, and either I don't notice I'm you know in a dream, or I do and I just don't do anything with it. But sometimes I feel like that's okay, because if I'm lucid dreaming, I don't know, I feel like I've only done it like twice, but I don't know, I feel like that would cause me more energy, and I just kind of want to just relax for dreams. Like, I don't want to think about things. I already think about a lot of stuff as is. I don't want to do it more in my dream, but that's just me, you know? I like to just have some dreams where I like to think about things that happen. Either, you know, they are depressing, like the Jehovah's Witness girl that I keep dreaming about, or some nice dreams where I've had many dreams where I like talked to my dad, for example. Like I hugged him and like I missed him. And I told him I loved him, you know? I remember one time where I talked to him because I was scared of the dark, like when I was like 9 years old, and he gave me advice saying that he was the same way, but you gotta be brave, like do all these things, and then eventually I did stop being afraid of the dark. So yeah, it just really like I like to you know, not really pay attention to, like, even if I do notice if it's a dream, I like to just kind of be in the back seat, if that makes sense, you know? I don't really want to think about it, you know? I just want to go along with the weird story my dream has, or some life advice that I have in my dreams, you know? Which I think it's fun and it's better for me to do, but that's just me. Maybe some people really like the lucid dreaming, you know? I kind of wish I could do it a little bit more often, but at the same time, again, I think a lot already. I don't really want to do that more when I'm asleep. So, but yeah, for real, I think that's gonna be it for this episode, guys, of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed. I will be back with more episodes in the near future. I have a plan to do a episode on memory, which I feel like it's very important to talk about, because many autistic people have good memory, but also there's some of us that have like bad memory, at least to some extent. I have like both, surprisingly enough. Like I have a really good long-term memory, but a short-term memory is like not the best. So I really want to do something about that. I've had ideas to do like something about my love life, but again, I feel like I already mentioned that quite a bit, so I don't know if I should really do a dedicated episode for it. I guess you guys could let me know in the comments below if you want. And of course, there's many other ideas that are floating around my head. Maybe something to do with hyperfixations, special interest, or chains, consistency. That topic, I've kind of thought about it, especially because, again, I changed the look of the podcast, but we shall see. Lots of episodes I want to do, or at least have ideas of, but I don't know if we'll do them or when we'll do them, so just be on the lookout, But yeah, like, subscribe, play some Xenoblade, and I'll catch you guys next time for more. Peace. Bye, everyone.